Have you ever found yourself thinking negative thoughts and all of a sudden those negative things you had in mind start to come around you? Or in some cases, you actually have positive thoughts. You're thinking of great outcomes, you're thinking of great success, building great bridges, and all of a sudden things begin to fall into the right place. That is the law. But what kind of law is it? Welcome to Broken Not Shattered. My guest is back, Dr. Ike Nnawuchi. He is here to talk more about this great law that we're talking about. We understand the law of aerodynamics. When the plane takes off, it stays in the air. We also understand the law of gravity. What goes up must come down. But this particular law is a very, very powerful law. Broken Not Shattered, my host, Dr. Ike, is about to explain this to us. Ike, we're talking about the law of attraction. What is the law of attraction?
The law of attraction is the most powerful law that most of us use every day, but we don't actually know we're using it. Law of attraction, simply stated, basically means that we get what we think about. So we attract our thoughts. By that, I mean that basically we have the potential to draw. We're like magnets, and anything that we think about, we generally attract. In my life, my dad years ago got me and taught me about the law of attraction. And I was using it for a while, but then you know how sometimes life just beats you down and negative things start happening. You start thinking negative. And I found myself thinking very negative for a number of years. And just recently, in the last month and a half, I have rediscovered the law of attraction. And it started already making a difference in my life.
Wow. So you actually said that we use it all the time, either for good or for bad. Mm-hmm. How does one stay conscious of this law? What makes you conscious of it? To actually say, hey, you know what? If I think good thoughts, I will attract those good thoughts. It's a philosophy, correct?
Right.
Right. So
yes.
It's a philosophy. So it's a mindset, correct? I know the Bible says, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he.
Correct.
That's scripture, right?
Correct.
So this attraction, I bet you, is actually saying the way I think about life is what I attract to me.
Exactly.
Bad or evil, good or not good, negative or positive, right? So how does one stay conscious of it? Because I have a lot of examples of where this law has come into play for me.
Right. Because exactly what you're saying, that these laws are in the Bible. It's not something that just came out of nowhere. Correct. And they've just basically expatiated on them and kind of pointed out to us these things. Mm-hmm. I remember for me, when I was in third grade in my school class in Canada, that's primary 3. Right. And we were asked to pick from a hat what we want to do our project on. It was ancient civilizations. And I wanted to do the Romans. And I was saying, I'm going to get the Romans, And I kept closing my eyes saying, Romans, 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 Romans. And when the hat came around to me, and there was like 50 different things or 30 different things with 30 students, and I picked out the Romans. And I was like, wow. But that's how we've been doing it. But, I was 8 years old, and I didn't capitalize on it. And there's so many times that we realize, and I'm sure you've got most of us here who are listening, we have periods in our life when we said, I don't care what anyone else says, I'm going to achieve X.
This, right.
Doesn't make a difference. I'm going to do X. And you believed it and you were determined. And sure enough, you did achieve it. But somehow we just we move on to the next thing and just kind of don't apply it to all of our life. So we have to make sure that we are conscious and realize that we are magnets. So if we start thinking and talking about how we have no money, I'm broke, I'm never going to do anything, my life is terrible, then you're going to attract terrible, right? When you think about rich men, right? You've heard this, I know you've heard rich men say that, oh, if you took away all my money today,
I'll make it again.
I'll make it again.
Right.
And they believe it 100%. And sure enough, you take away their money, they will make their money back again. They're millions. Wow. But meanwhile, the poor guy will say, man, I'm never going to be rich, man. Nothing ever comes my way. I'm always poor. And sure enough, he's right. He will be poor and he will get nothing.
Wow.
So, I found myself doing a lot of that for some time now. And now I've changed completely. I put only positive things in my head. No matter what life throws at me right now, I'm thinking positive thoughts. I say every day in the morning, I'm a money magnet. So maybe if you come back and see me in 9 months, we'll see how the law of attraction is working. But the one thing I do know about law of attraction too, while I'm waiting for these thoughts to manifest,
right,
it just makes you feel better. Instead of wallowing in the dirt and talking about, oh my God, I've got this money, I've got taxes, my house is being foreclosed, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You're just thinking about all the good things that are going to happen in the future. It lifts up your spirit, and you start attracting good things.
Even sorry for interrupting you. Even the good things that are happening to you now, because what happens was we have, as human beings, we have a very high tendency of actually focusing on what is negative instead of focusing on things that are positive, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's in a simple way, whatever you focus on, you magnify, right? So you focus on the fact that you are your bills are not falling in place, they're not adding up, right? And you're focusing on the gas bill or the water bill or the telephone bill, and you don't know, because you're focused on that. All of a sudden, every time you talk to people, that's what just comes out of you, right? You're always coming across like as if your situation is actually the worst situation ever. And don't get me wrong, it might be in a very bad place, because I've been there myself, right? But you're forgetting that you have good health, right? You have a roof over your head. There is a guy next door who's actually either been foreclosed or he's living under a bridge, right? There is someone that doesn't have the same good health that you have, right? Is in the hospital, strapped up somewhere. But all you're focusing on is, oh, my bills are not there and everything. So your mindset is only on the negative things that are not working. And you're forgetting all the other things that are working for you. And all of a sudden you find out everything around you begins to crumble, because you're always worrying too much, right? You now have issues with ill health. You're stressed out. You're unhappy. You're not friendly. All those things that just keep on gradually coming around, because that's what you're attracting.
Right.
And I see that happen on a regular basis. It's amazing how people just don't take time to be conscious of the fact that the other things going well in our lives outside of the ones that are not going well. Right. Yeah.
And also to take responsibility that we are attracting these negative things. So it's not just focusing on the fact that our situation is better than somebody else's. We've got to change our thinking. And that's the challenge of the law of attraction. The law of attraction seems simple. You attract what you think about, and whatever prosperity or good things or health, you attract it. But it's hard to attract those things when you're in a situation where you're struggling. Like it's hard to attract wealth when you're always thinking poor thoughts about poverty, right? Or when you are suffering, when you don't have money to pay your gas bill, you don't have money to eat. It's hard to be thinking about wealth, but that's the hard part and the challenge. And they say that the thoughts we have today are planting the seeds of tomorrow. So as we start thinking, so basically the things we're experiencing now are things that are thoughts from our past. So we've got to start now, going forward, deliberately create the life we want in our mind, relationships, prosperity, health. Because I speak to you, I was focusing on the fact that so many guys that I know in their late mid-50s to mid-60s have been having heart attacks and dying. And there was a period not too long ago, like 2 months ago, for like 6 months, 3 months, I kept talking about that all the time. I'd lost a lot of friends. And all I was talking about. And then after hearing about the law of attraction and getting back on track, I realized I was attracting that stuff to me.
Wow.
I no longer say that stuff. You will not hear me say it at all, because I am in perfect health.
Amen.
And all I attract is good health.
Right.
I reject all the other stuff. And this is the type of stuff that God talks about, right? In the Bible.
Yeah. When people
Right.
say, I reject that, I reject this, I reject, yeah.
Right.
But the truth of the matter is that it's very much biblical. Everything comes strictly from the word of God.
Right.
Obviously, man magnifies it and kind of trying to break it down so you can understand it. But for those who are not churched, the unchurched amongst us who are listening, it's very easy for you not to look at someone who's actually making those declarations and think the person is crazy, right? Because when you are in the fix, everyone looks at you and I say, "Oh my God, why is she not doing this? Or why is he not doing that? Can't he see that he's wasting time doing this, or she's wasting time doing that?"
Yep.
But if your mindset is locked in and you begin to believe in you, right, then you begin to see the changes take place. For instance, I know, when I started this podcast 2 years ago, I was mocked, literally, say, "What are you doing here? Wasting your time, blah, 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 blah," right? And I stayed focused because I knew that when it was given to me, I wasn't ready for it. I said, "Hey, I'm going to take your situation that you have gone through a level of brokenness, but you're not shattered." That's how it came. So the BN stands for broken, not shattered, right? So you're broken, but you're not shattered. And I kept on saying, no, I'm not ready for this. This is not. But all of a sudden, I came to a place where I felt, this is it. This is the time to start working on it. And I started working, and I have been consistent with my co-host, who unfortunately is not here today, so just you and I, to actually just build this thing up, And now you see people. We've got a good team around us in the background, also making sure that everything falls into place. We've got people giving good advice, and we're seeing those numbers continue to increase every single week.
But you believed it from the beginning.
Because I believed in it from the beginning, regardless of what anybody else thought. And I think that's the most important part. What do you truly believe? Not what you think you believe. What do you truly believe? Because people might say one thing, but think or believe something else.
Right.
The man thinks in his heart, so is he. As you think in your soul, that's who you are. Right. So whatever if you are friendly, you will attract friendly people. Right. If you're nasty, you're going to get nasty people. It's as simple as. So yeah. So but what components does one have to put in place to ensure then that this law becomes very effective?
So exactly what you said. So first of all, you have a thought. You first of all have to actually in your heart believe you're going to achieve it, right? And you've got to put some emotion behind it. So if you just say, well, I'm going to attract prosperity, you've got to actually feel that, yes, I am going to be rich. I am a money magnet. Good things are coming my way. My health is like when I say to myself, because you to take like 15 minutes a day, the same way that you take 15 minutes to pray, right? You also take 15 minutes for this, where you actually spend time and you think about these things that you want and put some emotion behind it. Feel the joy you'd feel when someone's giving you that big check. Feel the joy you feel when you have now completed that 5-mile run you've been trying to do. Visualize. You have to visualize also yourself, the body that you want, the things that you want, and you've got to believe it, and just you've got to put some emotion behind it. So when you add emotion, that's why when good things happen, you have emotion beside it, and you believe more and more is going to come to you. You start the law of attraction works even more. So just saying the words is one thing, but you've got to really put some belief, have that desire, and then emotion behind it.
So let me ask you another question, right? So you said you got to have the belief, you got to put the emotions behind it, correct? Yep. Scripture says, faith without works is dead. In other words, you might have the belief, the faith, right? But you're not applying yourself. It's a wasted level of faith. Faith without works is dead. So there has to be some works. So the guy who has done all the declarations, to the guy who believes but doesn't want to get up and get a job, doesn't want to go out and have that meeting, doesn't want to go out and take the first step to start, what do you say to them? Can they still attract because they're making all those declarations?
They can still attract. They can still attract, but you'll attract opportunity. You'll attract people into your life who want to help you. You'll attract things that will maybe give you motivation. And you have to. So they talk about that you have to just, first of all, have the thoughts and desires and believe it beforehand. And people and things will come into your life to make things better. And just think about when you start thinking about something like, oh, I want to get a job at the bank. I know I'm going to get a job at the bank. All of a sudden, you're going to start meeting bankers. You're going to start meeting people who are like, oh, I work at this bank. I work at that bank. I remember when I started years ago learning about the law of attraction, I started meeting people who were learning about law of attraction. When I was doing when I was learning about as a psychiatrist, I was doing PTSD and went to Israel, and I was working with soldiers and PTSD. I started meeting so many people who would say, oh, that their boyfriends was in Iraq, or their boyfriend's in Afghanistan, or their husband's in Afghanistan. And I was just being the attraction of seeing, it was so many people. I mean, the number of people I met, or I'd meet somebody who was a colonel or a general, who next thing they say, oh, we'd love you to come and talk. We'd love you to come and do such and such. That's how I ended up going to Israel with this project on PTSD in 2007, and being guest of the chief of the Israeli Air Force. From nowhere, but just things started just coming and coming and coming from that interest I had in PTSD. The opportunities kept going and going and going. So
what is PTSD for someone who doesn't understand?
Post-traumatic stress disorder.
And how does that take effect?
So post-traumatic stress disorder is when somebody is exposed to extreme stress, either extreme stress that all of us experience, or in your own perception. So somebody who has been in a car accident and seeing maybe there's been a loss of life, someone who's been to war, someone who's been molested, raped, beaten, or you regardless of whether other people think it, if you at some point in time feel that you're about to die or go through extreme stress and trauma, that can just mess you up. Like the fact that maybe someone's in your house and you're having to hide because of armed robbers, even though you may get away from it, the mere fact that for that time you thought you're going to be caught could definitely traumatize you. Wow. And you have nightmares, flashbacks, and many people are suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder.
So how do people, because this is a very informative podcast, how do people overcome that?
Medication, therapy. Medication and therapy. So you need to go see a psychiatrist. I'm a psychiatrist. I'm not a life coach. And so as somebody who's psychiatrist is a medical doctor who's been to medical school and then completes 4 years of training in just psychiatry. And psychiatry includes medication management, therapy, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You need somebody like that who has expertise in it, who now can help you with this. Medication plus therapy. And of course, lots of support.
Wow.
So it's got to be the right type of professional.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to continue talking about the law of attraction and other things around it. I think I have a story to tell that that happened to me recently. But let's take a break. Today, our topic is the law of attraction. My guest is Dr. Ike Nnawuchi, who's one of the top psychiatrists in the DMV area, and he is doing great and mighty works. Doc, give us a few minutes. We're going to come back again and then continue the podcast. And for those of us who have questions, please put your questions in the chat, and Dr. Ike should be able to respond to them as we go along. Okay, we're back.
I thought it was like a commercial break where a guy would have some 30 seconds to a minute.
That was a lot of my guests.
This guy give me some small 13-second break.
No worry. That's
what we call austerity break. 15-second break.
We're back. Please, the law of attraction is the topic we're discussing today. Follow us on our YouTube channel. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed to us, please. This is a great podcast, the BNM podcast, Broken Not Shattered. And also click the notification button, and we can get to see more content coming in. Check out us on Instagram. You can also check us out on Facebook or any of our YouTube shorts that come out. Just like them. The more content you actually encourage us and engage in the conversation. The more you engage, the more we bring out great content. Today we're talking about the law of attraction. So this is my story, Ike. 2 weeks ago.
I just mentioned that before the break, I was thinking about thirst. And I attracted that drink I was drinking when the commercial break ended. Go ahead. Sorry.
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. I've had people go through a lot of things. Maybe I should start telling people it's a 5-second break so they can actually adjust themselves. But that's fine, Doc. You're welcome. No, back to what I was saying, right? So 3 weeks ago, I had to have my tooth pulled.
Mm-hmm.
So this has been, I didn't have any issues, right? There was no pain, nothing. It's just that there was something my dentist kept on saying that I had crowding taking place. Crowding, which means that my teeth were being pushed together, right? And there was now trying to jump out of place, right? So it didn't look as smooth and as clean as yours. So at the end of the day, he said to me, we need to take out the tooth, the back tooth here, I think is the
molar.
Yeah, molar.
Mm-hmm.
So I couldn't say no. My last experience was terrible, and that was in 2007. I had pulled out my tooth, and I said to myself, I had something called socket, or whatever they call it, dry socket.
Dry socket.
Right, dry socket. Yeah. So that experience stuck in my head, and I said, I can't do it. I have never seen such pain as dry socket.
Yeah,
right?
they talk about that pain.
Oh man, no. It's unbelievable. It's like
you have to gargle with salt and water.
Man, I don't care what you do, man. The pain was like I thought I was literally gonna pass out. So that experience has traumatized me. And he has kept on saying to me for the last 2-3 years, you gotta move out, you gotta move out, you gotta move this, you gotta move this. And I said, no, I'm not doing it. So I went in to deal with this whole crowding thing. And this dentist that I now see, Dr. Ravi, she's such a wonderful woman. She goes, Ike, your tooth here is not growing straight. It's actually leaning this way and it's pushing everything. Mm-hmm. So as it's pushing everything, you're getting this crowding. For us to help you put this thing back in, you got to pull this tooth out. And I said, oh my God, and I thought about the worst case scenario. So I went to my dentist eventually, braved it. And I thought it was going to be like a simple in, boom, 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 and you're done. He goes in there. He said, it's not going to take long. We'll be done in a second, Ike. He goes in there and he finds out that all of a sudden that he couldn't just take the thing out. So he now brings the machines and drills it and breaks it into little pieces. Ooh. And says, okay, everything is out. You're good to go. You're going to bleed for a couple of days and you're fine. Man, if I put the pictures up here, you think I was in a fight with Mike Tyson. I was bleeding. Everything was just terrible. Everything was just swollen up. So I thought, okay, 2-3 days, you start the whole gargling of salt and you find back. The pain was consistent. For 2 weeks, I was in unbelievable pain. And I kept on saying, why is my case like this? Then it dawned on me. I had been saying, I'm not going to do this because it's going to be so painful. I can't go through that whole issue of dry socket.
Right.
My antibiotics were changed twice. They moved from amoxicillin to something else. Man, at the end of the day, I was in what's this in Oxy, Oxy, exactly, one of those heavy painkillers, right? That was altering my mood, literally altering my mood. I was just going off on everyone around me, right? So I now withdrew and shut everyone out for about almost 5-6 days. Didn't talk to much people, right? And that's all I was good for a whole 3 weeks. I said, why did this happen to me? And then I thought about it. I said, you kept on saying, this is how this is going to work out. This is
right. Exactly.
And you brought that to yourself.
Exactly.
Unbelievable. Yeah. So, and then I thought about when we were in university, right?
Yeah.
And you see a very nice young girl that you might like and say, oh, you know what? I'm gonna date this chick. She's gonna be my girlfriend. And boom, before the year goes out, you've met her, you guys are good, and you start, building a friendship, right? Yeah. And I used to say, well, how come I could do that when I was younger? And I would say this
right.
But all of a sudden when I'm older, nothing is happening. My mind.
Right. True. Very, very, very true. Yeah. Very true. And it's just like the chick that you say, oh, she's never gonna like me. You're right, she's never gonna like you.
That's right. Yeah. Or someone says, oh, she's out of your league. Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah, right. And that's also why you need to surround yourself with positive people. Because they're going to point out, the negative, the haters. And Nigeria, we've got so many haters across the world. Everywhere there's haters. So the people who are going to continue to be pointing out your flaws over and over and over again are going to continue to make you the ones who say, oh boy, you'll never get her. You'll never get that job. And you're going to start thinking those negative thoughts and start attracting that negativity. You want the people around who are going to say, man, this job is for you. You're definitely going to get this job. This is a perfect job for you. You want people who are going to support it and people who are encouraging you. Those are the people you need in your life, because they're going to encourage those positive thoughts, and you start attracting the good things in your life versus the negative things. So be careful who your friends are. That's why these are things our parents have said. These are things that we know.
Yeah. And they said iron sharpens iron. And in some cases, not all your friends can handle your success. And that's the truth.
Right. That's very true.
When things start going well for you, you'll be surprised that people that you thought that were your buddies or your friends or people that were in the same family with you that you were supposed to be close, they can't literally handle, what God is actually doing in your life.
Right.
But I tell everybody, I said, this is just, everybody has their own time and their season. This is Joe's season. Just celebrate with Joe, because your season is coming.
True.
If your heart is pure towards, Joe's success, guess what? You will draw the same level of success. Even Joe will be able to say to you, hey, this is what I did to make it happen. Maybe you should try this and it could happen, but people are different. And I'm learning every day that not everyone can take that same journey with you in good faith or in bad faith.
True.
True. What else?
We definitely have to monitor our thoughts going forward. Everyone should just try this. Start monitoring your thoughts. Be very careful of the way you're thinking. Change those thoughts. Be conscious of how you're thinking. Every time you say words come out of your mouth, be careful of those words and those thoughts you have, and reverse them. Doesn't make a difference what's happening. Just say, oh. And I remember I've done this a couple of times. I remember I had a talk to do at one of the hospitals here, and it was a grand round presentation. It's transmitted to like 14 different hospitals around the country, right? And I've been so busy that week I hadn't really had a chance to go over my presentation. I was trying to study in the car while I was driving, and eventually I said, you know what? I'm just going to visualize that I'm going to do a great job, and then the questions they're going to be asked are the questions that are perfect, and my presentation will be fantastic, and they're going to just love my presentation. And I just put all my stuff away and just spend my time thinking about this all the way to the talk. And it worked out just the way I had visualized it and was saying it was going to happen. They asked me to come back. They even said that I was doing it for free, and then they said, "Oh, we're going to give you some honorarium."
Whoa!
Honorarium means some cash, and of course, Black man was very happy with some small honorarium. I didn't even know the word before that day, but I quickly understood what honorarium was.
The word we use in church when we're preaching.
Oh, really?
It gives honorarium.
Man, I enjoyed honorarium. So I mean, that was an example of it. But then again, it's like you do that, and then you go on and just don't think about it. But you have to be deliberate. We have to do deliberate creation. So we continue creating the things we want in our lives by using our mind and our thoughts.
Wow. Set
your goal. You have your thought. Get emotion behind it, and believe that you're going to get it. As God says, you quoted the scripture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a man thinks in his heart, so is he.
Wow. So is he. Exactly.
Yeah. Wow. This is good. I hope someone is going to learn from this and use it in their own personal life, and try and stay with the negative. I remember one time, and every time someone said, "Hey, Ike, how are you?" I'll say, "Not too bad."
Right.
You're not too bad. And I said, "How you doing, man?" "Not too bad." "How you doing?" "Not too bad." And then one day I heard a voice saying, "Listen to what you're actually saying. You're saying not too bad." Means it is bad, but it's not too bad. I'm like, hold on. Look, how you doing, man? "Not too bad." "How you doing?" "Not too bad." That means you're doing bad, but not too bad. And I said, "How you doing, man?" "I'm awesome." "How you doing, man?" "I'm great." "How you doing, man?" "I'm good." "How you doing, man?" "I thank God." And I just intentionally from that day, I think it was about almost 6, 7, 8 years ago or something like that.
Really? That's great.
Yeah. I just said it about 8 years ago. I said, "Oh my God, look at the words that are coming out of your mouth." And we say these things without realizing, oh my God,
right.
I have so much pain on my body,
Right.
I feel so rejected, or I feel so overwhelmed. I have a member of my family. He is always saying the worst.
Mm.
You know, and I'm like, man, how can you do that? How can you always keep on saying these crazy things about yourself? And the more you keep on voicing them out, he will say, guess what? He will say, I'm falling apart.
Right. And sure enough, you start falling apart. That's right. Yes. Yeah.
I'm falling apart.
Yeah.
Falling apart. So
Yes,
and
yes.
before you know it, he's falling apart. He's having
Yes.
this, having that. He's having like, see what I'm saying? You can't keep on saying you're falling apart.
Right. You can't.
Or then he's always saying, I'm stressed out.
Right.
And for some reason, he's all of a sudden he's always
Stressed out. Right. Exactly.
Wow.
It's got to change that thinking.
Yes.
And the good thing is that even before the stress has gone away, just changing that thinking and saying that I'm good, man. Life is wonderful. No stress in my life. Even though there is stress in your life, you start feeling better just because you're saying it.
Yeah. So. And I know someone's going to say, well, it's easier for us to say this. You know, you guys are out there in the US where there's no issue with light in Africa, or someone is saying, oh, you know, you don't have any issues in your personal life. You're all doing well. Man, that's not the truth. If I tell you my story, guys, you will run. You cannot walk the shoes that Ike Nnawuchi has walked. Never. I have a smiley face because I chose to not let that thing bug me. What I've been through, I know guys who have been through it and they have never recovered.
That's true. That's very true.
But yeah. So you know, when I came back from Lagos, I went all the way down. Started from 0.0, just to gradually grow up again. So let's not go there. You do not know my story, and you definitely don't know Dr. Ike's story, and we don't know your story. But what we're saying to you in the last 2 minutes is, please believe your story will change for the best. You might be broken, not now, but trust me, you are not shattered. Dr. Ike, you have the last word, so we can wrap up the show. So we don't.
Well, I decided to have mercy on the viewers. I was going to think about and create some that they were all going to give me honorarium. That's the goodness of my heart, because I know it's not about that. But on a serious note, people, please, we've got to change our thinking. We've got to believe. From today, I beg you, I'm doing it now for the last 2 months, and things have been really and truly changing in my life. Good things. And you've got to, my patients, I've been telling them that when they come in, oh, it's this and that. I switch it around and say, nope. And I talked to them about law of attraction. I said, from today, we're going to change that thinking. And it's working. And people come, they leave the office smiling and say, you know what, things are getting better. So we've got to make an effort. You know, the law of attraction sounds easy, but you know it's hard. It's very hard because we're going through stumps. So we've got to really and truly do our best. Remember, visualize, think about it, add some emotion.
And you can even write things down, actually. Yes. I tell people to write things down so they can visualize it.
Yeah.
Or create little things that cut things. Have a book where you cut out pieces of things. If it's a car, cut the car out and paste it. You remember when I was trying to change the car?
Yeah.
You know, saying this is what I would like to have. I had opportunities to get other things, but I said this is exactly what I had in mind, and that's what came my way.
As you're going through your day and you're seeing things that you want in your life, those are just say that I want that. I am rich. I am wealthy. I am happy. Keep saying I am.
All right. Well,
I'm grateful because I have such and such.
Wow. Dr. Ike, we can continue about this forever. I know that we have to go, and I am your dog is trying to get into my show again, so we're not having it. So Shango, you need to sit down somewhere. As we end in broken, not shattered. Dr. Ike, thanks for your time. In my famous 3 words, every time wherever I shut up, I shut down the show. I always remind my guests to please remember love, peace, and more grace. Thank you, and see you guys next week.
Take care.
Thank you, Dr. Ike.